How is everyone doing tonight? Hope everyone is doing great. Trying a different little tripod out tonight. Seeing how this works. I'll enter my message.
Oh, I love that movie.
Hey, Dudley, how are you doing tonight? Yes, I'm live.
Hey, Andrew, what's going on?
Is that him?
That's Andrew.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So,
Oh, I'm doing good. Yes, it's Dud.
I want some.
Andrew says, "What's up?"
Not much. Just life.
Oh, I see what that's for now. The chat button. I'm trying an app here, so instead of using YouTube to do the live, I'm using Camera-Fi Live, and that fly is going to get on my nerves. Andrew, where are you at now? I don't think you're living in Robstown anymore, are you? Oh my gosh. This is why I like winter. No flies. And the barbecue pit stopped, so now they're all coming out just to downtown Corpus Christi. How's that going? We were just down there a month ago. Fishing was so-so. At least I caught something, wasn't skunked when I went. Victor introduced me to the ditches in Robstown to go fishing in those. He caught a gar and a largemouth bass. Well, I'm glad it's all right for you. Yeah, it was. We weren't planning on being there a week, but that's basically what it turned into. Do you do any fishing anymore? I went out fishing for catfish using pork chops the other night. They work. Surprisingly, pork chops will catch catfish. Where are you working at? Man, these flies. Yeah, the one thing I can say is that pork chop. Oh, so you're out on offshore rigs, Andrew.
Oh, yes. Fantastic.
I give you credit there. I don't think I could do that job.
I can. Piece of cake. No, is that right?
Yeah, that's the battery charger.
What do you inside? Yeah, I'll just do inside.
I bury people for a living. That's what I do now. I mean, when you're asked, hey, where do you work? It's not hard to describe my job. Set up the tent, lowering devices. Once everybody's gone, bury the casket and put everything away. That's my job. I work for a tent service. I guess I should go with that. And the weather here has just been, last night we had a thunderstorm come through. And what's funny is the radar on my phone didn't even show that it was even coming. It basically came out of nowhere and whacked us. My friend, Brother Sage, his house has no power right now, and he's a few miles outside of town. We had a tornado go south of us a couple nights ago. And I mean south, it was not very far from town. My wife was at the grocery store getting a pop, and she saw a nice pretty cloud. I was like, that's a tornado. She realized it was a tornado, and she'd never seen one before. Perryton, Texas, which is maybe an hour and 20, hour and 30 minutes from here, it got hit and did some pretty good damage. Yeah, the sirens were going off. We ran up to the school to go hide up there or to take shelter. And I mean, it was just right outside of town. It's one of those where that was too close of a call. My son Jaime freaked out from it, but you can't blame him. I kept my cool. I mean,
What?
Nothing.
He almost went down.
Ah. I might have been better off. Well, I'm glad I didn't go to the lake that night. Well, I've lived in Oklahoma a lot of my life. I mean, I was raised up here. Tornadoes, it's just part of life. It's what it is. And this is the time of year we have them. But I don't have to work tomorrow, so I want to go do some fishing. Probably go at night, because like right now it's not hot. It's actually quite comfortable outside. Last time I checked on the phone, it was 84 degrees. And that was a mosquito. Which those little buggers will be coming out soon. And they're the size of... Oh, they're just big. A hurricane, at least you get advance notice. And you can run. I mean, the bad thing with Perryton, Texas is the storm had taken out the sirens. So nobody even knew that it was coming. I mean, being raised up here, you hear the sirens and you know what that means. It's either A, 12 noon, or it's time to run and hide. We have a cellar, but we can't get to it. I mean, whoever designed this house, I don't know what they were thinking. They put it in a closet. And then whoever lived here before stuck basketball gym flooring over it. I mean, I've been down in there. I mean, it's not big. And there's no door. So what am I supposed to do? Reach up and pull the flooring back over on top of you? And then, yeah, it doesn't make sense. I mean, at least it has ventilation. My fear of a cellar in a house is that the house gets wiped out and it's on top of you and you're trapped underground. That part would make me freak out during a tornado, is knowing I'm trapped underground. And then you wonder, is anyone going to find you? Or how long? So it's easier to run up to the school, go to the basement there, and you're in a brick building. At least if you get trapped in there, you're trapped with a bunch of other people. I am not I'm not claustrophobic per se, but I wouldn't be fond of knowing I'm underground and I need to be found. I mean, I guess for as long as you have food and water down there, you'll survive. But it's like, how long will it take for someone to get to you? But at least we don't live in a mobile home. I mean, you've heard the story of the three little pigs. You know, huff and puff. Your mobile home will blow away. I mean, this house, I believe, was built in the 30s. So it's been through quite a few storms. I would imagine in its time it's seen them. But I mean, statistically speaking, what's the chances that you're going to get hit by a tornado? I mean, you're more likely to see one versus get your house wiped out by one. I would say it's deadlier trying to drive through Dallas, Texas on the freeway. That's a lot scarier. I am not fond of driving in Dallas at all. That's why I live in a town of 400 people, no stoplights, no traffic. And if I go to Woodward, Oklahoma, well, again, hardly any traffic. I mean, it's not bad traffic at all. Even Oklahoma City is not as bad as Dallas. I don't mind driving there. My wife would prefer me to stay on the Northwest Expressway, stay off the interstate. But yeah, I would like to. Well, there's a lake near here called American Horse something or another. We'll go with American Horse Lake. And I would like to go explore it. You know, take various baits, carp bait, catfish bait, throw out some rods and just see what you get. If I go to Lake Vincent, which is just right up the road, you only have 2 rods. If I go to Dead Warrior Lake, which doesn't have any restrictions on it, except for whatever the state maximum is, which I think is 7 rods, I take 4. Yeah, exploring different lakes is fun. I mean, it's the unknown. You don't know where you're going to find the fish at. I mean, there are the telltale signs of where to go look, but you never know what you're going to catch. I could put carp bait on, put cord on the hook, pack bait on the method lead, cast it out. I may catch a giant freshwater drum. I mean, it's the unknown. That's just part of the adventure. And I mean, working in the funeral service business, you learn to appreciate life. You really do. There you go. Mystery of what you're going to catch. I mean, I can go check Fish Brain and get an idea of what's in the lake. But to be honest, I've cast out Kool-Aid chicken before and caught a largemouth bass. While I was fishing for catfish, and I caught a largemouth bass. I mean, that's it right there. It's the mystery. And I believe I've done that twice on chicken. I've noticed if a largemouth bass is hungry enough, they'll eat chicken. And I mean, going to, these lakes, you just try, you put baits on the bottom, which is where my carp rigs usually sit. Use a high-low rig, so you're in different depths of the water column. And try to figure out where the fish are at that time. I just hate going to Lake Vincent and I'm tied to 2 rods. I mean, yeah, I may catch something, but if I have 4 rods, it gives you more chances to catch fish, increases your odds of catching a fish. I found that any more than 4 rods it's a lot of hassle, especially if you're carp fishing, because you have to rebait every so often. And let's say I take 6 rods. That's a lot to handle for one person. It really is. So for me, the magic number's 4. Now, if I'm with Brother Sage, I don't mind taking more rods. I mean, the other night at Dead Warrior, I had 3 out. He had 2 out, so we had 5 rods. I mean, between 2 people, that is very doable. And one of the rods I had out was an Ozark Trail surf rod, which, I mean, for the price, it's not bad. You got 2 or 3. I mean, take what you're comfortable in wanting to deal with. Don't go with the mindset, well, I'll throw out all that I can. I'll put 7 rods out. I mean, then you're baiting up and dealing with 7 rods. And if you break off, then you're retying. Or you break off on another one, then you're retying again. I mean, you constantly stay busy. I like to go fishing and relax a little bit. Not have to up, down, up, down, up, down, out of my chair to deal with a fishing rod. Unless I'm catching fish, I don't mind that. If I'm catching fish, I'll jump up and get it. But that's what I noticed with the pork chops is that at Dead Warrior, like, there's a lot of little catfish in it. I mean, they're eater size, and they just need to be taken out. A lot of them. So that hopefully the ones that are left will grow up a little bit. I remember maybe 4 years ago, I could catch bluegill out there.
Present.
Yes. And then plus 2, you got to be able to have the space to run more than 4 rods. Because you don't want to just bunch them all up right next. I can admit that I'm not the greatest at casting. You know, trying to do straight. I mean, some people can sit there and put 6 rods next to each other and cast them without tangling them up. Knowing my luck, I'm going to cross lines. So I'd rather go with 4 rods and space them out a little bit.
Got it cooked already.
Yeah, it's done.
Ooh. Patrick fat. The fat's like right here.
My son-in-law is teasing my wife with pork.
I like the fat part.
Me too.
I mean, I used to have that mindset. Well, when I first started really fishing, really getting serious, it's like, well, I'll just take a bunch of rods, go carpet bomb the lake, and you ends up not being as relaxing. That's my advice. 3 or 4 rods, or my advice is take what you're comfortable in wanting to deal with. I mean, fishing should be relaxing. It should be fun. It shouldn't turn into a stressful headache. There you go. I think it's solid advice. You'd only take as many rods as you want to deal with. I mean, I guess it's like playing Powerball. Only takes one ticket to win it. And it only takes one rod to catch a monster catfish. There's a lake in Woodward. Before they drained it, you were allowed one rod. I'll pass. But when they drained it, there were huge flatheads in that thing. Huge flathead catfish. I fished one out, and I'll tell you what, I tried to carry it back to the car because I was going to go ahead, because they say never to really keep a catfish that's like over 10 pounds. I mean, that's what they say for eating wise. And I understand the logic behind it. I mean, the older a catfish is, the bigger it is, the more toxins it's going to ingest and whatnot. And the last thing you want is to eat catfish and get sick. Or make yourself sick later on. So, but anyways, this flathead was so huge. I had my hand up into its gills trying to carry it to the car. Because I wanted to see what it tasted like. Won't lie, I was curious. I got partway to the car and gave the thing away. It weighed that much. And I was covered in mud from my waist down. Trying to get it out. I got stuck for a little bit. And I tell you what, that was a little scary. But a flathead that big. And I mean, it wasn't the only one there that size. I could only imagine the ones that people took home before, but there were a bunch of them. They drained the lake to rebuild the dam to it, which it's almost done. But that lake will never be the same. Because I doubt the state's going to go in and stock flathead catfish in it. Well, thank you, Andrew. Thank you for joining. And you have a great night. And there's that fly again. Again, I mean, I think that flathead catfish was bigger than my youngest son. You are so welcome. Well, anyways, dinner is done. And I'm hungry. So everyone out there, subscribe and have a great night.